if you're feeling like you can't do something, you don't know how to do something, I just want to say, like, "Man, we can't help you. You have to be the person that's going to stand on your own 2 feet and just get up and get going." I honestly, there's nothing that somebody could tell you. There's nothing that anybody is going to do that's going to make you realize, like, man, you just got to say screw you to the rest of the world. Just get going, right? Like, honestly, I don't know. I am just kind of at the moment of my life where um, you just kind of like give up with all of that nonsense, and that like, I don't know what to do and all this kind of stuff, and you just say it's up to you. Let's just get going. And if you can't figure it out, and like this is the thing, right? And you kind of get to this sort of moment where um, there's nothing that somebody's going to say or do to change somebody's mind, and they have to do it for themselves. And you just simply have to be there in case they do change their mind, and be ready for the fact that they possibly could be there, right? And like, or you know, at the end of the day, that's really what you have to get to is, I sort of, look around and I see sort of, frustration, I guess, in a lot of folks that sort of are well intentioned, and they, you can see that they're really well intentioned, and then they're just like, I'm just kind of done with this all. Um, and you get to this moment where you're like, if you can't help yourself, if you can't get to where you need to be, and you're just like giving up on all of it, there's nothing that somebody else can say and do to change that. You simply have to just be like, screw this, right? I'm gonna live my life. I kind of, you know, there are some things that you kind of do know, right? Like, I was talking to this with my wife months back, and one of the things that she sort of said that kind of resonated with me, was the fact that nobody likes a know-it-all. But then I was like, wait a minute. It kind of was like, it took me back, and then I was like, wait a minute. I mean, I study this kind of stuff, right? Like, I study this kind of stuff. We kind of know a little bit about, human performance and company performance and all this kind of stuff. And I spent years studying this and trying to figure it out. And ultimately, if people don't want to get to that moment, right, where they are understanding and wanting to actually make a change in their life, and they're wanting to make that step forward, there's nothing that you can ever say that will connect with them, and they have to be ready to listen to you, right? Like, I kind of have these conversations, and how do you sort of connect with people? You don't, right? They have to connect with you, right? Like, it's not you, it's not a one-sided transaction, right? They have to be ready to listen to what you're saying, where you're there and you're part of, like, they're the ones that are processing and coming to terms with what you're actually saying. And there's no effort, there's nothing that you can do. There's no amount of bribing and all that kind of stuff. They just kind of have to have a bit of a, come to Jesus moment, right? Where they just like snap, and they do it themselves and they figure it out. And there's no amount of questioning, talking, anything that will resolve, that will come to that moment, right? Man, I can really see how, you simply just have to, like, step back and say, hey, I'm gonna live my life. and I'm going to live a healthy, functioning life, and I'll try to be there. But I can't like live your life for you. I can't be there, and you have to stand on your own 2 feet, and you have to be doing things for yourself. And if you can't do that, and if you're not ready to be, part of the conversation, well, then I just simply have to step back and say, hey, unfortunately, you're gonna have to have some bumps along the road to get to the moment where you actually are starting to see things, right? And I see it, man. I see it like on so many areas of life where if people only tried, their life would be a lot better, right? But what are you gonna do? You can't change it. You can't function in a way that you're waiting for that. You simply have to just be like, all right, we'll be here for you, right? And once that comes around, once you sort of have the belief in yourself that you can do something, then we can have a conversation. And I think, to me, this is one of the most important things that people can come to terms with. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.